Hello everyone, welcome to Pabbly Connect. Today in this video, we are going to integrate two software applications, Shopify and FreshBooks. So the use case here is, whenever a new order is placed in Shopify, automatically create invoices in FreshBooks. So let us know what these two software applications are all about. So Shopify is an e-commerce platform where you can set up your online store, whereas FreshBooks is an invoice and accounting software. The issue here is that Shopify and FreshBooks don't have any integration between them, and that is why we are going to use Pabbly Connect. So Pabbly Connect is an integration software which will help you to transfer data from Shopify to FreshBooks. The best part here is you don't require any knowledge of coding. So let me show you this on my screen. Okay, so here I am at Google. And now I will go to this URL section over here and I'm going to type pabbly.com. Okay, so this is the website of Pabbly, and now I will hover over this product section from here and I'm going to click on connect. Okay, so now I am going to sign into my account. Okay, so now because I have already signed into my account, that is why I am here. You can also sign up for free and create your free account in just 2 minutes. Here, I would like to mention one more thing. You can try out this integration in Pabbly Connect absolutely free. So if you want, you can create your account right now and set up your own automation. The link is available in the description box below the video. Okay, so now I will scroll down and here at Connect, I am going to click on Access Now. Okay. So this is the dashboard of Pabbly Connect, and now we are going to create a new workflow by clicking on this button over here. Okay, so now I'm going to give a name to this workflow and I'm going to name it as Shopify Integrations. Create. Okay, so now here in Choose App, first I am going to choose Shopify. Okay. Now in trigger event, according to our workflow, whenever a new order is created in Shopify will be our trigger event over here. So new order. So now you can see we have various trigger events available. You can select whichever trigger event you prefer. And if you don't get the trigger event of your choice, you can contact our team at admin@pabbly.com and our team will help you. Now I'm going to click on new order. Okay. So now you might have a question in your mind that what is this term called trigger? Let me explain you that automation runs on the concept of triggers and actions. It is all about when something happens, do this. For example, when a sale happens, send an email. In our case, whenever a new order is created in Shopify will be our trigger event over here. So now when you come down here, you can see this term called webhook URL. So webhook is an essential way to get data from an external software at Pabbly's end. So this webhook helps you to build a connection between the trigger software application and Pabbly Connect. So here after choosing the app and choosing the trigger event, what we do is we copy this webhook URL from here and we go and paste it inside the trigger software application, which is Shopify over here. Okay, so now you can see the instructions are written over here. You can just follow them carefully. So now I'm going to go to my Shopify account. Okay, so this is my Shopify account over here. Now I'm going to click on the settings over here and you can see this notification. So I'm going to click on notifications. Okay, now I'm going to scroll down and here you can see webhooks. So I'm going to create a webhook over here. Okay, so event here is order creation. So I am going to click on order creation. Let us search for it. You can see order creation. Okay, format will be JSON URL. So here you have to paste the webhook URL that you got from Pabbly Connect. I'll just copy it and I am going to paste it. Webhook API version will remain same. Save webhook. Okay, so we have successfully created a webhook and we have saved it. Now I'll go back to Pabbly Connect and here I am going to click on capture webhook response. So now it is waiting for webhook response. That means now whenever a new order will be created in Shopify, Pabbly Connect will capture the data. So now I'm going to go to my Shopify and here you can see online store. So I'm going to open it in new tab. Okay, so now I'm going to click on catalog and I am going to buy a camera. Okay, now I'll buy it. So now here contact information, I'm going to enter a contact information here. So the email is going to be emily15@gmail.com. Okay, first name Emily, last name Chloe, company I'll put here TVS, address E24 10 number Market, Arera Colony, city Bhopal, state Madhya Pradesh, pin code. Okay, phone. Okay, now continue to shipping. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to payment. Okay, so now in card number, I'm going to write 1. Name on card, I'll write here Bogus Gateway. I'm here doing a test card payment. Expiry date. Okay, security code. Okay, pay now. Okay, so we have successfully created an order here in Shopify. You can see we have bought Canon EOS 1500D digital SLR camera. Okay, so now let's go to Pabbly Connect. Okay, so you can see Pabbly Connect has already captured the data over here. The email is here, created date, updated, okay. If you go down, you can see the amount is also here. So we have successfully finished our first step integration here. Now I'm going to save it. Okay. Okay, so now let's begin with our second step integration where we are going to integrate FreshBooks and Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this plus button over here. So now here, if you paid attention and if I go back, I'll show you. So here you can see the created date and updated date are not in a proper format. Everything is mismatched over here. You can see the time and date have come together. They have come in a combined format. So in order to edit this date, I am going to use an action step over here. And here I am going to put date or time formatter because we need our date or time formatter later when we are creating an invoice in FreshBooks. That is why I'll format the date and time. So now in action event, I am going to choose format date with time zone. Okay, so connect with date or time formatter. Okay, so now in date, enter date to be formatted. So here I'm going to choose the date that needs to be formatted, which is this one, created this one. So we are going to format that date. I'll just map it here. Okay, now here from time zone. So here you have to enter the time zone that you live in. Here because I live in India, that is why I am going to choose Asia or Kolkata. You can find your time zone by clicking on this link over here. I'll just search for Asia, Kolkata. Okay, to format. Now here you can select the format in which you want to format your date. So here I am going to choose year, month and date. That is why I am going to choose this format. You can select whichever format you want according to your choice. I am going to choose this one. First I want the year, then month and then the date. So I'll choose this one. Okay, now to time zone. I want to convert it again back to Asia, Kolkata. You can select it according to the place you live. Okay, so now I'm going to save and send test request. Okay, so you can see we have got our API response. Our date has been converted to a proper format. I'll just save it. So now we have successfully finished this date or time formatter section over here. Now, if I go back to my webhook response over here, I'll just show you one more thing. Okay, so here you can see the tax rate has come as 0.18, but here in FreshBooks, it always accepts the tax in the multiples of 100. That is why we are going to add one more action step and we are going to format this number over here. So here I am going to use number formatter now. Okay, so now here in choose app, I am going to choose number formatter. And in action event, I am going to use perform math operation because we are going to convert our tax into multiples of 100. So perform math operation. Connect with number formatter. Okay, so here in numbers, we are going to map our tax. So I'll just map our tax over here. So this one, it is in the format of decimals 0.18. Now I'm going to put a comma and I'm going to write 100 over here because we are going to multiply this with 100 in order to make it in the proper format. Now operation here, I am going to choose multiply, save and send test request. Okay, so you can see our tax amount has come proper now. It is 18. I'll just save it. Okay. Now after this, if you go back to your webhook response, here you can see the client details except language has come in a combined format. You can see English EN and then US. Then you can see this EN over here. So we need to split this text because it has come as a combined format. So I'm going to use one more action step over here. Now here I am going to use text formatter. And in action event, I am going to split the text. Connect with text formatter. Okay, text to split. So here I am going to map the same field that I showed you. This one, except language. So I'll just go down and I'm going to map it. This one. Okay. So now here you can see this EN and then there is hyphen. So now I want to separate this text. So I want to separate EN and this full US and all this data. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put here in separator this hyphen. Okay. So now what will happen? The data which is present in front of the hyphen will be separated and the data which comes after this hyphen will be separated. And here you can see segment index we are going to choose first because we only want the first part of the data. So now I'm going to click on save and send test request. Okay, so you can see we have got our first part of the data, that is EN, that was before the hyphen. Now I'm going to save it. Okay. So now here we have finished our first step integration. Now let's begin with our second step integration where we are going to integrate FreshBooks and Pabbly Connect. Now in this workflow, what we are doing is whenever an order is created in Shopify, we want to create an invoice in FreshBooks. Now in order to create an invoice, we have to make sure that the client or the customer for whom we are creating the invoice should exist in FreshBooks. That is why before creating an invoice, what we are going to do is we are going to search for the client or customer. That is why I am going to add an action step over here. And here I am going to choose FreshBooks. And here I am going to search for the client. Connect with FreshBooks. Okay. Create new or select existing credentials. If you have any existing credentials, it will be displayed over here. But here I don't have any. That is why I am going to choose new credentials. And now I'm going to connect with FreshBooks. Okay, authorization is successful because I've already logged into my FreshBooks account over here. Okay, account name. So here it has already mapped the account name. My account name here is Pabbly, you can see. Okay. Email. So here you have to enter the email that you want to search. So I'm going to map my email. Email is this one. So I'll just map it. Now let us search. Okay, we have got our API response. And if I go down here, you can see total is coming as 1. That means this email or this client already exists in FreshBooks. That is why it has given us all these details. I'll just save it. Okay. So now we have made sure that this customer or client already exists in FreshBooks. So now what we are going to do is now we have to put a router over here because we are going to have two conditions. If the customer exists, we are going to directly create an invoice. And if the customer doesn't exist, first we have to create a customer and then we'll create an invoice. So I'm going to add a router over here. So now here in router, first I'm going to write router. So we have two conditions, root 1 and root 2. So here in root 1, I am going to give a name as if client exists. Update. Okay. And here I am going to choose if client doesn't exist. Update. Okay, so we have two conditions, if client exists and if client doesn't exist. So if client exists, what we are going to do is we are just going to create an invoice. If client doesn't exist, first we are going to create a client or a customer, then we'll create an invoice. So now I'm going to click on settings. Okay, so here I am going to map my result that came from the API 5th where we searched for the client. So I'll just go to my API 5th. Okay, so this was our 5th API where we searched for the client or the customer. So here if you go down, response result total 1, which proved that this client already existed in FreshBooks. So I'll just map it. Okay, so now here it will be does not equal to, and here I'm going to write 0. Okay, so save and send test request. Okay, so you can see condition is true. I'll just save it. So here that means this customer already exists. That is why now I'm going to add an action step over here. So here we are directly going to create an invoice because our customer already exists in FreshBooks. So here I'll choose FreshBooks. And now I'll just create the invoice. Connect with FreshBooks. Create new or select existing credentials. I'll just choose my existing credential because that was already mapped. So I'll just take it, save. Okay, so now here we have some fields and we have to fill the information. So first account name, it has already mapped my account name. Customer email. Now here because our email already exists in FreshBooks, that is why we are just going to map it. So I'll put map here and now I'm going to map it. I'll just go to my 5th API. Okay, here. So here you have to see the user ID. Okay, so you can see this is the user ID over here. So I'll just map it. Okay, creation date. So here you have to put the date that we got from our date or time formatter. So I'll just search for our date or time formatter date. Okay, so here you can see date or time formatter. So this was the proper date that we got in a proper format. I'll just map it. Okay, days due from issue. This you can add according to you. I am just going to leave it blank. Language. Now here you have to map the English language that we got from our split text formatter. So I'll just go to my API 3 over here. So here you can see text formatter where we split the text and this is our result, that is English. So I'll just map it. I'm just going to leave this blank because it is not required. I'll directly come to name of line item. Now let us map the line item name. Now let us search the name of our item that we ordered. So here is the name. I'll just map it. Okay. Quantity. Let us map the quantity. Okay. So we bought only one camera. I'll just put this over here. Okay. Now tax name. I'll just put the tax name over here. Okay. So this is the title. Tax percent. So now here you have to put the percent that we got from our number formatter. I'll just go to my API 2. So this is our tax. So I'm just going to map it. Okay. Okay. So here you have to map the unit price. Okay. Okay. So here is the price. I'll just put it over here. Save and send test request. Okay. We have got our API response. That means our invoice has been successfully created. I'll just save it. Okay. I'll go to FreshBooks and I'm going to show you if the invoice is created. Okay, you can see Emily Chloe is over here and you can see the invoice is also created. We'll just see it. Okay, so you can see we have successfully created an invoice. You can see the description is over here, tags, everything is over here, date of issue, due date, invoice number. So you can see we have successfully created an invoice over here. I'll go back to Pabbly Connect. Okay, I'll just save it. Okay, done. So we have successfully finished our first condition. Now coming back to our second condition, I'll click on setting. Now here in this condition, if the client doesn't exist, what we are going to do is first we have to create the client and then we have to create the invoice. That is why here I'm again going to map the 5th API where we got the total, this one. So now equal to, and here I'll write 0, save and send test request. Now here you can see condition is false because if the customer doesn't exist, we have to first create a customer and then we have to create an invoice. So now I'm going to just save it. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this plus button over here. And here, if the customer doesn't exist, first we have to create the customer. So I'll again choose FreshBooks. And here we are going to create the client. Connect with FreshBooks. I'm again going to choose my previous credential, save. Okay, so now account ID, it has already mapped my account ID. Email. So let us map the email. Okay, first name. First name is Emily. Last name. Last name is Chloe. Organization name, we have the organization name over here. Okay, language, if you want you can just map those same English thing. Okay, notes, no need. We have the address, I'll just map it over here. Okay, state, I have it. Okay, postal code, I had it over here. Okay, save and send test request. Okay, we have got our API response. That means we have successfully created this client. Save it. Okay, so now if you have created the client, the next step is to create the invoice. So I'll again create the invoice over here. FreshBooks, create an invoice, connect with FreshBooks. Remember, we are doing this step because we have to make sure that if the client doesn't exist, then first we are going to create the client and then we'll create an invoice. So I'll again choose my old credentials, save. Okay, so here you can say account name, customer emails. So now here in email, you have to map the user ID. So let us search for the user ID. Okay, it is here, this one. I'll just map it. Creation date, you have to again map the date that we got from our date or time formatter. This one. Days due from issue, I'm not going to put anything. Language, I'll again put English over here. Okay. Name, line item required. Again, you have to put the line item name over here. Here is the name of the item. Quantity. Quantity was 1. I'll again put 1. Tax name, it was GST. Okay. Percent is 18. That we got from our number formatter. Unit cost line item. Okay, that was 30,000. Let us map it. Line item price. Save and send test request. Okay, we have got our API response. That means we have successfully fulfilled this condition as well. I'll just save it again. Done. So we have successfully fulfilled both our condition over here. So now whenever a client already exists in FreshBooks, only the invoice will be created. But when a client doesn't exist, first the client will be created and then we'll create an invoice. Okay, so now I'll go back to FreshBooks. And here in invoices, you can see we have again created an invoice for Emily Chloe. If the customer doesn't exist, first we'll create the client and then here you can see the invoice. So now here we have successfully finished our integration and our integration is working fine. Now I'm going to show you this process again with one more example so that you can understand how this integration takes place in real time. So here this time I am going to go to my Shopify account and I'm going to enter the details of the customer who doesn't exist in FreshBooks. So that next time automatically the client first will be created in FreshBooks and then the invoice will be created. So I'll go back to my Shopify store. I'll go to catalog and this time I'm going to buy laptop. Buy it now. Email. So I'll put email over here. Stanley001@gmail.com. First name is Stanley. Last name is Benjamin. Company I'll put here Hero. Address. Okay. Phone. Continue to shipping. Okay, so now here I'm going to put some test card details. Expiry date, security code, pay now. Okay, so you can see we have successfully created an order over here in Shopify. Now let's go to FreshBooks and see if a new invoice is created there or not. I'll go back to FreshBooks. I'll refresh this page once. Okay. Okay, so you can see Stanley Benjamin is over here. You can see the issued date is over here and the amount is over here. If you click on it, you can see we have successfully created an invoice over here. Okay, if I go back to my clients, you can see the client was also created. Now, because Stanley Benjamin was not existing in FreshBooks before, that is why first the client was created over here and then the invoice was created here. So we have successfully finished our integration. Now I'm going to go back to my Pabbly Connect and I am going to explain you what has happened in our example. I'll just minimize all this. Okay, so what has happened in our example is first the information went from Shopify to Pabbly Connect and then from Pabbly Connect the information went to FreshBooks. So now every time a new order is created in Shopify, automatically new invoices will be created in FreshBooks. And in our workflow, what we did was first, because our date was not in a proper format, we added a date or time formatter here. And then in order to convert our tags into a proper format, that is into a multiple of 100, we used number formatter and we performed a math operation. And after that, in order to split our text regarding our language, we used text formatter and we splitted the text. After that, in order to make sure that the client or a customer exists in FreshBooks, we did a search client or customer using FreshBooks. After that, we put two conditions in router. First condition was if client exists, then we'll only create an invoice. Whereas if the client doesn't exist, first we have to create the client and then we'll create an invoice. So we have successfully finished our integration of Shopify and FreshBooks using Pabbly Connect.
Not just these two software applications, but you can integrate any software application using Pabbly Connect. If you have any queries, you can contact us at admin@pabbly.com and our team will help you. For more, you can also visit our website at www.pabbly.com. Thank you.